What is something acceptable in women but frowned upon in men? Story 1. As a single dad who has custody of his son, 5, I have been told a child needs a mother's love. If I show affection to my son, I get weird looks. People always assume I am giving mom a break, when in reality she left because she felt she didn't get to date enough before getting married and having a family. But yeah, a lot of frowned upon stuff seems to involve me simply being a decent father, LMEU edit. Thank you all so much for the kind words. I only wish that we all keep moving forward and loving each other. I want my kid to grow up loving the world and seeing the best in people. The sun rises and another day comes. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Someone replied, my cousin is a single father to a girl. He asked one of the daycare workers a question about hygiene, and they called CPS. Ridiculous, he's a good dad and just wanted advice and help from someone he thought he could trust. Story 2. Me and my girlfriend were playing tag with my nieces and some lady came afterwards and asked my little niece, do you know this man? My girlfriend told her to fuck off. After that time, I really thought, what was my mistake? What did I do wrong? And wonder, do all women think every male has wrong intentions? So to answer your question, it's strolling with little children these days. Someone replied, I was taking my dog to the park, and as we walked by the playground, a couple kids ran up to see my dog, who loves kids. He was a minor celebrity to the kids at the park. So I kneeled down so I could hold his harness and be in eye level with the kids. And they patted him then. After a couple kid anecdotes and telling me about their dogs, I stood up to walk off and had a woman follow me all the way to the dog section and threatened to call the cops if I ever did that again. So naturally, I did it as I left. And sure enough, she went and got the officer who stopped by the park on his patrol. After asking me a handful of questions, he told her to fuck off. It's insane how brainwashed our culture is against men interacting with children in public open spaces in a completely safe way. Like my dog wanted to talk to the kids, not me. Someone else replied, my dad was a seasonal police officer, and part of his patrol is a parkland with a beautiful little pond and a great big swing set. The area is very popular for children and developmentally delay individuals because the area is in a 12-foot fence against a canal. So it's very safe and has only one in and out past a ranger and lifeguard. My dad wholeheartedly believes in the healing power of nature and that children should be outside elbows deep in dirt or sleeping in the grass. He frequently visited this park as part of walking his beat and made great friends with a 10-year-old girl we believe has Down syndrome. She would run up and hug him every time she saw him enter. One day as she ran to hug him with her caregiver in arm's length, a woman made a very loud, obnoxious comment that between carrying a gun, or groping a child, it was a good day for an old white man flexing his power. My dad was gutted and actually came home in tears. The man's behavior has been beyond reproach for his 35 years with our village. He has piles of awards, but his proudest achievement is that his gun's never been out of the holster. He walks a path so people see him and he can be there for them. And this one horrific person crushed him as he stopped to connect on a more personal level with a child. He fosters that he will listen and he will help no matter what. It takes years to build those relationships, but one woman only seconds to destroy the confidence of doing right. Dad got over it and he is retired and now serves as a magistrate in the court. That cultivated respect of everyone in his care is gone. The old guys are almost all gone and the county cops don't even get out of their cars. We as citizens are losing the protectors who cared, and people like the woman who destroyed my dad wonder why no one helps. No one stops to say hello. Story 3. Having big boobs. Story 4. Being a domestic violence victim. When my friend was assaulted by his wife, some of our friends were like, he probably started it. Many people don't believe women can be vicious and men can be domestic violence victim. Someone replied, one of my biggest regrets was not stepping in when I saw this. Girl that I, also a female, was roommates with some 15 years ago, went from cool and chill to suddenly yelling, putting down, hitting, and throwing things at her boyfriend at the time. I was so shocked I didn't even know what to do. I'll never not intervene again. Fuck that shit. Abuse victims are abuse victims, period. Story 5. Playing with kids. If you are a male, somehow they will think you are an offender. Someone replied, I went to my nephew's birthday party over the summer at the park. My 2-year-old and I went to one of the swing set slide things where there was just one other kid playing, probably like 8 years old. Her parents must have been nearby, but I didn't know who they were. Anyway, she suddenly comes up to me and says, hi. I say, hi. She asks my name. I tell her. And then without warning, she just starts hugging me. I was so terrified. What do you do in that situation? I can't push her away. I can't just hug this little girl I've never seen before back. So I just nervously smiled and kind of backed away slightly while she hugged my legs. She eventually just left and started playing again. Later on, I mentioned it to my sister-in-law and she laughed. Apparently that girl is autistic and just loves men for some reason and hugs them all the time. I felt relieved, but god damn, I was so scared I was going to get my ass beat. Story 6. While visiting my mom for Thanksgiving, I saw a woman walking a dog that looked just like my brother's dog whom had passed away earlier that year. When my brother arrived, I asked if he had seen the doggy ganger. He said he had, and he almost had stopped and asked if he could pet the pup, but wasn't sure if the woman was a teenager or a young adult, so opted not to interact. Wouldn't have thought twice about the woman's age. Most of the time, a woman's interactions with children and with other women are given the benefit of the doubt, whereas due to the actions of some creeps, harmless actions from males are more likely to come across as creepy, even if they aren't any ill intentions. Someone replied, just the other day, I was picking up some Pokemon cards at the store. A little girl walked up and started picking some out as well. She started asking me if I liked Pokemon and stuff like that. I would have liked to talk to her all about it, but I just kept it super short, grabbed my stuff, and walked away because I didn't want anyone thinking I was a creep. I didn't even have time to figure out exactly what I wanted. Story 7. Being a stay-at-home parent, I've been at it 8 years. Some days are awesome, most days are exhausting, but I don't get invited to the other stay-at-home parents things because they are mom groups. No one is specifically excluding me, but it doesn't occur to anyone that a stay-at-home parent might not be a mom. This shit is isolating. Story 8. Exploration in every kind of fashion. Especially as someone who enjoys dance, it's been really remarkable to see how women can wear basically anything as long as certain parts are covered. Big poofy pants that come up above your waist with sports bra? Cool. Skin-tight half leggings with a poncho? Excellent choice. But men always wear the same shit. T-shirt or button shirt, pants in the usual style. Story 9. Crying. We should honestly let men have feeling instead of expecting them be this emotionless provider. God. Story 10. I don't know what to call it, but I was bullied by a woman when I was school. She always made fun of my looks. I made one single comeback, she started bawling, and how I turned into the bad guy. There was a girl in my class in high school who perpetually pinched or hit my then boyfriend. Now that I'm typing that, I don't know if she wanted his attention or had a crush on him, but when finally he snapped after months and months, she cried and was hurt. I was there, and other people too. He only took her wrist and told her to stop. But she had a medical condition that made her thin as paper. Supposedly, I think she wanted attention most of all, and she wore a brace for 2 weeks. Even if she was weak, it was a bitch thing to rely on her condition to hit others thinking they can't push her back. Story 11. Opening up about our feelings towards mental health. I had some female friends that insisted I could talk to them about this. I said I didn't really care to be alive some days, and they came back with, don't say that, you're scaring me. Okay, I'll keep it to myself, I guess. Story 12. Being timid, just shy. This is a strange one, because all the people who think I'm less masculine being shy and judge me for it keep me at arm's length. But the weird result is everyone's happy because the less people who want, that the easier it is for me. Story 13. Going up to a random kid and being jolly with them, or even talk to them. My dad loved children. It was so difficult once he had Alzheimer's to make him understand he couldn't walk up to children and tell them, you're such a pretty little girl. Would you like to come home and play with my granddaughter and I? Story 14. Being treated same by the legal system. There are thousands of cases in which women don't get punished as severely as men for the same crime. I'll share 2 incidents. One, there was a guy in Washington, high school kid, who was accused for sexual harassment by 2 girls. from the same friend group. The school kicked him out, legal action was taken, the media destroyed his image, character, etc. But after a while, those girls confessed that she falsely accused him BCs. They thought he was weird. The school took no action as if they never did anything. They didn't took the kid back at school. Media was silent. The only action taken was a lawsuit filed by the parents, which resulted into nothing. Those girls destroyed that kid's life because his mental health would never be same to ever date normally, be normal or confidant around girls, and those girls just went on living their normal life, as if nothing ever happened. 2. A school teacher was punished only a 21-day probation for molesting a 13-year-old kid for 3 or more years. She always forced him and was caught when the kid wasn't able to take it anymore and called 911 crying and barely able to breathe. Imagine if a guy would have done even half of it. Story 15. Letting your job or career crumble, general laziness, incompetence. It has everything to do with societal expectations. Women are still infantilized. I think it's the most insidious kind of sexism because it's so easy for them to take the easy path of low expectations without even realizing it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen women just mess up really bad in my grad programs and jobs, and people just kind of turn a blind eye. I mess up, and it's a really big problem. But I've seen lots of women either not get called out or cry when they are called out. I can't imagine crying whenever I mess up. I think my boss would think I'm mentally ill. At first, this irked me, and I didn't know exactly what to think about it, because it feels like a sexist thought, but I can't not notice these things. One day, a mentor took me aside and said, "Look, I'm hard on you because if you fail, you're screwed. If she fails, she's going to have a safe place to land. She doesn't have to support herself if she doesn't want to. Her family will do it, or she'll find someone who will happily do it." This was, of course, an incredibly sexist thing to say, do, because he was neglecting to correct and train my woman counterpart under the assumption that she would not need to succeed. And then she very casually ghosted the lab after she got married and never finished the degree. There is a really nuanced way we should look at that. The expectation that men have to succeed is in a way justified, because I cannot expect someone to support me if I decide not to work. Not typically, at least. If I go down, I'm homeless. If she goes down, she's a trophy wife, son, partner. Family is far more willing to support their daughters monetarily. The other end of this is imagining what would happen to me if no one demanded that I succeed. No one demanded excellence. What sounds like a good deal for some lazier women is a terrible curse for determined ones. I guess that's as far as I'll go with this one, because I'm deeply afraid of the Reddit gods and their wrath. If you like stories like these, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. If you have any opinions on these stories, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed today's story time, and I hope to hear from you all soon.